Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sheila G, the PAC, and today I want to share with you some ways that you can improve the appearance of crepey skin. Before getting in, of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for all things dermatology. Let's go. Patients ask me almost daily how they can fix or reduce the appearance of thin, crepey skin. Well, the truth is, there is no one magical treatment for this issue, as crepey skin is the result of decreased skin elasticity that occurs from a number of natural and external factors. But there are definitely some things that you can implement into your skincare routine to help with the overall appearance of crepey skin. What I'm going to be sharing with you today are things that not only help with the appearance of crepey skin, but also with skin texture, dullness, fine lines, wrinkles, and hyperpigmentation. So what is crepey skin? Well, crepey skin resembles that of crepe paper, so it's often loose, very delicate, and can appear finely lined and quite thin. For a lot of patients, it's not only a cosmetic concern, but can also affect daily life, as those who have crepey skin can experience more skin tearing and easy bruising. As we age, the epidermis, which is the top layer of skin, starts to atrophy, meaning it becomes thinner. Also, there's a decrease in collagen production in the dermis, and so the skin starts to lose its structural integrity and elasticity. Over time, we also see an increase in transepidermal water loss, meaning that the skin doesn't retain moisture as well as it used to. For women who are going through menopause, there is a significant decrease in the hormone estrogen, which is a hormone that supports collagen production. And so this decrease in estrogen contributes to the overall loss of structural integrity and elasticity in the skin. Some other factors that contribute to crepey skin include excessive sun exposure, that's a big one, smoking, significant weight changes, the chronic use of topical steroids, and exposure to environmental pollutants. Besides eating healthy foods, staying hydrated, and managing stress, the most important step in your skincare routine is sun protection. And this is true for everybody, regardless of your skin concerns, but especially those who have crepey skin, as chronic UV damage further breaks down the integrity of the skin and leads to rapid signs of aging and atrophy. Not to mention it can also lead to skin cancer. So wearing a broad spectrum SPF 50 or above on a daily basis is my rule number one. The next thing I recommend is to implement a chemical exfoliant 1 to 3 times per week, and I'm going to expand on this in more detail. Chemical exfoliants use certain acids or enzymes to dissolve the bonds between skin cells so that they shed more naturally. I do not recommend the use of physical exfoliants, which contain more abrasive particles to scrub away dead skin, as these can be more irritating and can potentially compromise the skin barrier. Chemical exfoliants, however, improve the appearance of crepey skin by increasing cellular turnover, thus revealing fresher, plumper skin underneath. They also improve hydration, smooth texture, and enhance absorption of other skincare products, but most notably, they increase collagen production by stimulating fibroblasts. So over time, we're going to see thicker skin and more elastic skin. Chemical exfoliating ingredients would include alpha hydroxy acids, which include glycolic, mandelic, and lactic acid. Of these alpha hydroxy acids, glycolic acid is a bit more powerful and penetrates deeper into the skin, whereas lactic acid and mandelic acid are a bit gentler, so good for those with sensitive skin. Lactic acid is also considered a humectant, which means that it draws water back into the skin, so it's even more beneficial for restoring hydration. And then there's polyhydroxy acids, which include gluconolactone, galactose, and lactobionic acid, which are more mildly exfoliant and antioxidant. So these are a great option for those with very sensitive skin or reactive skin. If you're really looking to improve the look of crepey skin, a great strategy is to implement a chemical exfoliant 1 to 3 times per week and pair it with a daily active moisturizer. And I'll get into what that means in just a moment. But this combination really helps to encourage skin renewal, improve texture, and improve hydration and overall support of the skin barrier. Now let's talk more about chemical exfoliants. While there are moisturizers and lotions that contain a lot of these powerful exfoliating ingredients, what I would recommend is to use a dedicated chemical exfoliant, meaning a serum or a toner, 1 to 3 times per week and pair it with an active moisturizer. So these serums and toners are a little bit more concentrated, and so they tend to be more effective at increasing cellular turnover and increasing collagen production. When starting out with a chemical exfoliant, it's important to start low and go slow, meaning start with more gentler acids or lower concentrations, and then slowly increase as tolerated. This is especially important if you have more sensitive skin, as overdoing it can cause a lot of irritation. So I'm gonna throw this in here now, but another excellent ingredient for crepey skin is retinol, which is a vitamin A derivative that also increases cellular turnover and collagen production. But how would you incorporate a retinoid like retinol into your skincare routine if you're already using a chemical exfoliant 2 to 3 times per week? Well, it depends on the strength. So if you're using a high strength prescription retinoid like tretinoin, or if you're using a higher strength retinol that's available over the counter, I would recommend to use these on alternate days. So only use your retinoid on days when you're not using your chemical exfoliant. That's because these two ingredients together are quite strong and so can cause more irritation, especially those with more sensitive skin. But if you're experienced with these ingredients or you have skin that's not very sensitive, applying a retinoid or a moisturizer that contains a retinoid after your chemical exfoliant may be okay. So on that note, if you're looking for a product that contains both retinol and chemical exfoliants, a really good product is the Body Retinol by Necessaire. And this contains a 0.1% retinol along with glycolic and mandelic acid. This is more of an all-over body serum that can be used 2 to 3 times per week with a moisturizer added on top. So again, you can either combine a retinol with your chemical exfoliant depending on the strength and if you can tolerate it, or you can alternate the two. So now let's go over some dedicated chemical exfoliant product options based on their strength. If you're looking for a chemical exfoliant that's more gentle on the skin, what I would recommend is the Paula's Choice Skin Perfecting Liquid Exfoliant that contains 6% mandelic acid and 2% lactic acid. Also the Inky List Polyhydroxy Acid Toner, as well as Naturium's Mandelic Topical Acid 12%. So if you have more sensitive skin, those are some great options. Now, if you're looking for more moderate chemical exfoliants, what I would recommend is the Ordinary 7% glycolic acid toner. The Ordinary also has a 10% lactic acid plus hyaluronic acid serum. And then there's also the Alpha H Liquid Gold, which contains 5% glycolic acid. Now for a higher strength chemical exfoliant, one product that I absolutely love is the Prequel Multi-Acid Milk Peel, and this contains 15% glycolic acid, along with phytic, malic, mandelic, lactic acids, enzymes, and squalane. Now this one I personally use and it is phenomenal, but it is quite strong, so you might experience a little bit of stingage with this one, but it is formulated in such a way that makes it more comfortable and less irritated. It's more of like a milky toner. Love it. The next step is to use a daily active moisturizer. What do I mean when I say an active moisturizer? What I mean is to opt for a moisturizer that also contains ingredients that target crepey skin, but is still more gentle than your dedicated chemical exfoliant and can be used on a daily basis. So some ingredients that you want to look out for would include urea, which is a keratolytic, which means it exfoliates the skin gently but also brings back moisture into the skin. Other ingredients include barrier supporting ingredients that rehydrate the skin, and so those would include hyaluronic acid, panthenol, glycerin, peptides, ceramides, squalane, and niacinamide. Also, if you're not already using a retinoid such as retinol in your skincare routine, you can opt for a moisturizer that contains a tolerable amount of retinol, as this aids in collagen production and skin smoothing. Depending on the active moisturizer that you choose and what it contains, it may also be okay to use this every morning. But regardless, I do recommend to moisturize the skin twice a day. Now let's talk about examples of active moisturizers or lotions that you can use on a daily basis and alongside your chemical exfoliant 1 to 3 times per week, starting with products that contain urea. So the first product that I recommend is the Prequel Urea Advanced Relief Moisturizer, and this contains 10% urea. Another product that also contains 10% urea is the La Roche-Posay Lipikar Urea 10% Roughness Smoothing Lotion. You can even go for a moisturizer that contains lactic acid. And remember, that is a chemical exfoliant, but it's very, very mild and gentle on the skin. And it's also a humectant, meaning it's gonna bring moisture back into the skin. So a couple of really good products are by Amlactin, starting with the Amlactin Crepe Firming 15% Lactic Acid Lotion. That has a slightly higher concentration of lactic acid, but if you don't want that one, you can always opt for the Amlactin Nourish 12% lotion. Now some moisturizers that contain really hydrating and barrier supporting ingredients would include the Gold Bond Age Renew Crepe Corrector Body Lotion. This has omega fatty acids, antioxidants, and botanicals. And then there's the Naturium Biolipid Restoring Body Lotion, and this has B vitamins and lipids. if you want to add a moisturizer that has a tolerable amount of retinol, a really good one that I recommend is the Gold Bond Age Renew Retinol Overnight Body and Face Lotion. Now this also contains lactic acid, niacinamide, glycerin, and other barrier supporting ingredients. So we talked about your dedicated chemical exfoliant as well as an active moisturizer. But if you would rather use your chemical exfoliant in the form of a moisturizer without having to use a separate toner or serum and then moisturize after that 1 to 3 times per week, what I would recommend is to use a high strength exfoliating moisturizer or lotion, again 1 to 3 times per week, and then on alternate days just use a gentle moisturizer. So examples of higher strength chemical exfoliating lotions and body moisturizers would include the Alpha Skincare body lotion that contains a 12% glycolic acid. And then there's the Glytone exfoliating body lotion, which contains 17% glycolic acid. I'm pretty sure that's the highest strength that you can get over the counter. So just be mindful, that's very strong, so it's powerful. Use it 1 to 3 times per week as you tolerate it. Another good option here is to use a moisturizer that contains a higher percentage of urea. Now, the concentration of urea ranges from 5% all the way to 40%, with 10% being more common in your gentle daily moisturizers, and 40% is more often utilized for those who have very dry, thick, cracked heels. So if you have dry, crepey skin, you can always opt for a moisturizer that contains a 20 to 30% urea. And a really good option would be the Eucerin Urea Repair Plus Moisturizing Cream, and that contains 30% urea. So there you have it, some things that you can implement into your skincare routine to improve the appearance of crepey skin. If you've used any of these products or any of these methods, please comment down below your thoughts. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.